the once and future leader of the Green Party, Elizabeth May.
It's difficult to put into words what it means to take a stage as the next leader of the Green Party of Canada. C'est un peu de déjà vu.
Well, déjà vu. That's how Elizabeth May characterized her return to the helm of the Green Party on Saturday night. But this time, she's not a solo act. May hopes to co-lead with former human rights activist Jonathan Pedneault. They will will a shared leadership help revitalize the struggling party? It's a question I spoke to Elizabeth May and Jonathan Pedneault about yesterday. Elizabeth May, I know your party likes to champion recycling, but I didn't know it went all the way to the top.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how exactly is this going to work with two leaders?
The other parties take our ideas and they recycle them. No, co-leadership is not unfamiliar as a concept in the Green Party. The German Green co-leaders are now both in the cabinet in Germany, ditto New Zealand, ditto Scotland. It's a very commonly used form of leadership because it's distributed leadership, and it demonstrates that as Greens, and I know you've heard me say this a zillion times when I was leader, the leader of the Green Party is not the boss of the party. It's a role for service and for being the chief spokesperson. So we are the chief spokespersons.
Right. I think if the last year and a bit have taught us anything, the leader of the Green Party is not the boss, but Jonathan Pedneault, I mean, how will this work? Because constitutionally, while this is common, you say with Greens in Germany or whatever, in your party it's not, right? There's room for one leader. You're now the deputy leader officially, and the party needs to change this entire constitution to make this work. So do you think the party will go for that?
Oh, I certainly do. We have had two couples of candidates running on a co-leadership ticket in this race. Members are excited. Members understand what co-leadership is about. We understand that the problems we face as a nation, but also as a party, require more heads around the table. But not only that, I mean, I'll say as a Quebecer, Québécois, the people in Quebec are very familiar with the concept of co-leaders because we have that with Québec Solidaire, and it works perfectly fine. They have been able to elect a good number of very good MLAs, and we intend to do just the same. Okay, so you've won this race. You're committed to this plan. You think the party will get on board. There's an election, Ms. May, and there's a leaders' debate. Who shows up?
We've solved this too because the German Greens figured it out in the last election. For the first time, they put a candidate forward to be chancellor. Between the two of them, the two co-leaders decided, I think it should be Annalena Baerbock. Okay, now she's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Jonathan and I will, well before the writ period, decide which one of us we think is best positioned not to become leader, we'll still be co-leaders, but to take on a chief spokesperson role, just like Quebec Solidaire did recently in the Quebec election. We will be putting ourselves forward to the membership and say, we think, really, if it's 2025 and a lot more Canadians know Jonathan, and they think, yeah, Jonathan Pedneault, you should take all the leaders' debates and all of the legal requirements of the Elections Act that say leader's signature, one leader. We will decide between the two of us, and we'll ask the membership to approve.
Right, okay, so Jonathan Pedneault, the vote actually was for Elizabeth May on Saturday night, right?
Like it was for the two of us.
It's for the two of you, but the way the results were displayed was Elizabeth May was at top. I know the understanding was it for the both of you, but technically it was for Elizabeth May, but there is a chance that even though she got the most votes, that you could be the person in the leaders' debate in the next election.
Well, again, it was for the two of us. We ran on a joint ticket. We met with Canadians, with Greens, and presented a co-leadership model. We explained it thoroughly in our website, in all the interactions we had, and I think we can say with confidence that the votes that we got, mine and hers, were for one another.
Right, so no matter what the ballot said, the understanding within the party, it was a ticket and you're content with that.
And again, we'll go back to the membership. We're not going to say to the members, guess what, surprise, you voted for Elizabeth, but Jonathan's taking a leadership debate. No, it's just that whenever the election will come, there'll be a mood in the country. You know what it's like. No one knows today what the country will be feeling like in 2025 as we get ready for an election. We will go, as the German Greens did, we'll go back to the membership and say, do you lay hands on this consensus decision that we have made? Otherwise, we'll switch it up. Everything about the Green Party of Canada has to rest in our members having the authorities.
Well, your members have had a busy year or two with the authorities, with all of the turmoil around Annamie Paul's leadership and then the changes. There's some, Jonathan Pedneault, what do you need to do to sort of win back the confidence? Because the number of people who voted this time was way down from last time. You've taken a real hit in public opinion over the last couple of years. How do you rebuild all of this?
Well, the first thing is we start talking about the green policies and what brings us in politics. And what brings us in politics is the climate emergency, but also the failure by the Liberals, who have been promising so much to Canadians, the sunny ways, and delivering very little. We are the party that consistently has been talking truth to Canadians, have been talking to Canadians as the adults that they are, and Elizabeth and I will be doing just that. Internally, we have work to do. We have our homeworks. We understand the challenges. We'll be having these discussions with our members, and we'll be attracting more members. We'll be expanding our base because we understand that there's a lot of Canadians out there who don't feel represented by status quo parties, and we are the answer to that.
You know, and we just finished a leadership race where all the candidates came up on stage together to declare our unity. I don't think you can find any other political party in this country, anytime the Liberal convention ended or the Conservatives ended a leadership race, where the team of candidates, well, who refer to ourselves as a team, the other candidates for leadership were great, and we want to keep working together and make sure they get elected to Parliament.
You don't think this will be confusing to voters, co-leaders, going back to the membership, figuring out who would actually be the candidate for Prime Minister, who would actually participate in debates?
We don't have a candidate for Prime Minister in this Westminster parliamentary democracy. You know we don't.
But
Yeah.
I surmise from what you say, the person who goes into the debates is the person who becomes Prime Minister, assuming the Greens were to win it. Or what, you're not telling me that would change too, are you?
Well, no, a co-leadership model would actually suggest that we would continue as co-leaders in Parliament as well. It's a question for in the debates
Right.
that you can't say, well, Jonathan will take all the French debates because he's a Quebecer, and I'll take the English debates because I'm Orator of the Year. No, we have to, during a writ period, single it down to one person.
Right.
In the unlikely future where we form a majority government,
Yeah.
we would continue to share the leadership.
You don't think it's confusing?
Oh, no.
People?
I don't think it's confusing. I have the highest trust in Canadians' intelligence. We are an intelligent nation. People understand, and we've seen that in Quebec, that people don't get confused. We are a party. We have two leaders who speak with the same voice, have the same opinion, because we carry the membership's vision of what a Green Canada looks like. And it's a beautiful vision, and we look forward to selling it.
And
to
besides,
Canadians.
I'm the 68-year-old angry grandmother. I'm fighting for my grandchildren's future. I've got a 32-year-old partner who's also fighting for the future of
And
youth.
also angry.
And yes, that's true too. We're sick of what we're getting of incremental policies that fail to deliver on the promises, and we're here to offer Canadians a real alternative.
Okay, so every time we ask for an interview, you both come in. Is that the deal from now on? Is that how it's going to work?
Well, probably not, because I'll be all over the country, and so will Elizabeth sometimes, but we're interchangeable.
Yes, and I'm more likely to show up because I work just over there.
That's true. Okay, all right. Well, it has its advantages. Elizabeth May, Jonathan Pedneault, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.